Hello, Mandela class. Welcome to your English lesson. In today's English lesson, we are going to be planning our non-chronological report. So what's special about a plan? How do we write up a plan? Pause the video and have a think. Well, how is a plan different than the actual non-chronological report? Well, when we're planning, we're thinking in detail about what we want to include in our actual non-chronological report, but we don't write full sentences. So this is just to gather all of our ideas and put it down on the piece of paper so that when we go to write our non-chronological report, we've already got everything that we want to include. So in today's plan, we will be planning the first part of our non-chronological report, and we will look at the heading, the picture, the introduction paragraph, and the what does it look like paragraph. That's all we're planning today. So we want to do our best to include everything that we have learned so far in our English lessons, including using subordinate clauses, using relative clauses, including all the things that we have also previously learned, like descriptive language. We want to put all of our knowledge together and make a great plan for these sections. So we're going to be planning this together, just similar to how we would do it at school. We will talk through how to plan one section. You can't give, the only difference is you can't give me ideas. So I will show you what my ideas look like. And then you'll pause the video and have a go at doing that section by yourself. So we'll do it section by section. It's very, very, very important that you keep this plan safe. So make sure whichever piece of paper you do this plan on, you keep it, because we're only planning the first section now. Then tomorrow we'll be planning some more, and you will also need this plan for when we write out our non-chronological report on Friday, because you'll be using your plan to then turn it into full sentences and write your report. This is what the overall plan will look like. It's got all the sections that our text map has. So it's got the title, the introduction paragraph, what does it look like paragraph, and the picture goes on the side here. So when we're writing our introduction, we don't want to take the full space of the page. We want to use about half of the page, as you can see here. So these two paragraphs, when we're writing our notes or writing our sentences, we're not going to carry on to the end of the line, because next to these two paragraphs, we want to make some space for the picture as well. So we're planning up to here. Again, a reminder, as this is a plan, we don't need to write full sentences. We're just writing down our key ideas, our most important ideas. And then later on, in the next few lessons, we will turn it into full sentences. So we're focusing on this section, and this is what the format will look like in your plan as well as in your actual non-chronological report. So you must pay attention to the layout as well. Okay. Now, if you haven't got your piece of paper and pencil ready, please go and get that now, and make sure that if it's in a book, it's easier to keep safe. But if you're doing it on a loose piece of paper, please make sure you keep that safe. Okay. You've all come up with your own inventions anyway in your DT lessons. Now, at the top of your piece of paper, please can you write the heading? I will show you how to do this in a second. So hold your heading in mind. This will be the name of your invention. What invention have you come up with so far in our DT lessons? Remember, we looked at headings and what the features of a heading are. A heading must stand out. So the person who's reading your report straight away looks at the heading and knows what the report is going to be about. So it must be underlined to stand out a little bit more from the rest of your writing. So let me show you on my page what that will look like. Here's, just quickly before we move on, let's have a look at what our text map looked like. Here is the heading, the electric hairbrush is underlined, and it's also a bit more bold than the rest of my writing. What do you notice about every word in our heading? Every word starts with a capital letter. So let me show you on my page what my heading will be. Okay, so I want to keep my heading in the middle of my page. So my creation, my invention is the massage mattress. So I'm going to start writing my heading and then I will underline it. The, and remember, what does each word of the heading start with? A capital letter. The massage mattress. Okay. Now I'm going to underline this with my shape pen. You will underline it with your ruler. To make sure that it's a straight line. The massage mattress. Can you now pause the video and write your own heading based on what your invention is? And play the video once you've written it in your neatest handwriting and underlined it neatly with a ruler. Okay, now that you have written your own heading, we are going to move on to the next section. Next, we will draw a picture of our invention. This doesn't have to be the best picture that you write, that you draw, because you're going to make the most effort by drawing it out neatly when you're writing your actual non-chronological report. This is just a sketch, so it should take only a couple of minutes to quickly draw this out, just so you can see the layout of your plan as well. Okay, let's quickly look at where the picture goes again. So now you have got your heading at the top of your page and it's underlined to stand out from the rest of your writing. Now, underneath your heading, on the right-hand side of your page is going to go your picture. So, underneath my heading, just here on the right-hand side, I'm going to draw a rough picture to represent my mattress. I'm going to do my best to do this on the computer, but you guys have got a paper and pencil, so it should be easier. And I'm not going to spend too long doing this. Okay. Okay. And here I'm going to show that my mattress has 2 layers. Here I'm going to quickly draw my vibrating cushions. Okay, so this is a rough sketch of what my mattress is going to look like. I'm going to make a lot more effort when I'm actually writing out my non-chronological report, and I'm going to add a lot more detail to it. But this is just to give me an idea of how my actual report will look like. This is just a plan, so it's a rough sketch. Okay. Now that we've written our heading and we've drawn a quick sketch, a rough sketch of our picture, we're going to move on to the introduction paragraph. So again, this is just a plan, so we're going to make quick notes and bullet points. We will turn these into sentences when we write it up neatly on Friday. Okay. So again, I'm just going to quickly show you our electric hairbrush text map, just so we can see what the introduction looks like. So here the introduction is, the electric hairbrush was in fact a magnetic brush invented by Dr. George Scott. So we're not going to use this exact sentence structure, but this is just to give us an idea of what information could go in the introduction paragraph. We've learned a lot more about how to extend our sentences and make them sound more interesting and make them more complex throughout these past few lessons. So we're going to use everything that we've learned, but also get some ideas as to which information we can actually include in the introduction. So here they've spoken about what kind of brush it actually was and who it was invented by. That goes in the introduction. So again, I want you to include in your introduction the subheading introduction, so that people know what information they're about to read by looking at the subheading. An interesting sentence starter. So as I said, we've learned a lot about how to make our sentences more interesting. I will show you the word mat to help you choose a sentence starter, but I want an interesting sentence starter. Although one hasn't been used here, we can make our non-chronological report a lot better. So an interesting sentence starter, let's make sure we grab the reader's attention. We don't want the reader to be bored when they're reading our non-chronological report. Then again, information about who invented it. You invented it. So you can include your name, you can make it sound fancy, you can say doctor if you want to, or if your invention has got to do with engineering, you can use any title that you want to make it sound more interesting, and a little bit of information about it. I'm going to show you the word mat to help us think of some ideas as to how we can start our sentences. So if you've already got an idea, or if you would like to pause on this page to have a look through the word map and think of how you would like to start your sentence in your introduction, you can pause the video now before I show you how I've done my introduction, and then you can have a go at doing yours. Okay, so far I have got my heading, and my picture. Now I want a subheading. What's my subheading going to be? Well, it's going to be introduction. I'm going to underline my subheading too, to separate it even more from the rest of the text. Okay. Right, now I'm going to think of a sentence starter. So let me go back. Which one of these would go best with the ideas that I've got in my head? Well, I know that I'm going to include information about who invented this mattress. So I'm going to choose to start my sentence with an ED word, and I'm going to start it with invented by. So not invented in, I'm going to say invented by, and remember, these are just bullet points. So invented by, and I'm going to say that it was invented by Miss Williams. So I know that my sentence is going to start like that. Invented by Miss Williams, and the rest of my sentence. I'm just going to write my sentence starter here, and I'm not going to complete my sentence. And then the next bullet point. So I'm going to think about what other information I can give. So invented by Miss Williams, the ideas I've got in my head is that the massage mattress was in fact an electric mattress. So I'm going to write in fact electric. And then when I go to put these two ideas together, then I will write my paragraph. I don't need to write my paragraph now. Okay, I'm happy with the information that I've included in my introduction because I've used my interesting sentence starter. I've started it with the ED word, and I've given a bit more information about my invention. So next, we're going to move on to the what does it look like paragraph. These are the things I want you to include. Again, the subheading, an interesting sentence starter or interesting sentence starters, because you'll have more than one sentence in that paragraph, a subordinate clause, adjectives. We're describing what it looks like. What kind of language do we need to use when we're describing something? You've learned so much about how to use descriptive language. You could use the power of three or expanded noun phrases in this section. You should use that. So try to challenge yourself to make your sentences sound even more interesting. Use descriptive language as well. So let's look at what this will look like in my plan. Okay, let's look at our sentence starters because we are expected to use interesting sentence starters. And also let's look at some subordinating conjunctions to help us create more complex sentences. So if you've already got an idea of what information you would like to include in what does it look like paragraph, then you can pause the video and write some of these sentence starters and subordinating conjunctions down. If you need to see me do it first and then have a go, that's absolutely fine too. But pause the video if you need to. If not, let's just carry on. Okay. So what I want to do is to mention the fact that my mattress actually does look like an ordinary mattress, because just by looking at it, you won't know that it's a massage mattress. So I'm going to start, and remember, subordinate clauses don't always have to be at the end of a sentence. They can also be in the beginning of a sentence. So I want to say something along the lines of the mattress looked like an ordinary mattress because it was covered in memory foam. But I want to start my sentence like that. So I'm going to say, as it was mainly made from memory foam, it looked like an ordinary mattress. Before I do that, I forgot to add my subheading. I'm going to leave a space. So I've done my introduction paragraph. I'm now going to leave an extra space to start a new paragraph. And this paragraph is going to be, what does it look like? Question mark, which I'm going to underline. Okay. So I've written my subheading. Now I want to start my sentence with a subordinate clause just to make it a bit more interesting. As mainly made of memory foam. I'm not going to continue my sentence. So as it was mainly made of memory foam, the massage mattress was actually looked like an ordinary mattress. So looked like an ordinary mattress. Now I want to go in a little bit more detail, and I want to start another sentence, but I want to have an interesting start to my sentence. I want to go in a bit more detail about what it looked like. So I know that I have extra things underneath the first layer. So although it looks like an ordinary mattress, it has extra layers underneath. So I'm going to go back to my sentence starters, and this section would be more relevant for me because it talks about where or when. I want to speak about where the extra features can be found. The extra features in my invention can be found beneath the surface, so beneath the first layer. So this is the sentence starter that I'm going to choose. Beneath the first layer, and then the rest of my information followed by a comma. Now I need to remember that I also need to include some descriptive language. So this is the part that I'm going to use my descriptive language. How am I going to describe what can be found underneath or beneath the first layer? Well, I know that beneath the first layer, I can find some plastic round massage cushions, rollers, sorry. So I'm going to use an expanded noun phrase. Round plastic rollers. And what else can I find underneath, beneath the first layer? I can find some vibrating cushions. Now cushions are normally soft. So I'm going to use another expanded noun phrase, and I can see that it's an expanded noun phrase because I've used two adjectives and a comma. I'm going to write down that you can also find soft. So they are soft and they vibrate. So soft vibrating cushions. Okay, so I've used two expanded noun phrases. I've used an interesting sentence starter, and I've also used a subordinate clause in the beginning of my sentence. Okay. I've also thought of something else, another descriptive language that I could include here. Where I've said it's mainly made of memory foam, I could describe the memory foam, maybe using the power of 3. What adjectives could I think of to describe the memory foam? So I'm going to add my power of 3 as another bullet point. I've thought about describing how to describe memory foam. So I know that memory foam is quite firm. And I know that based on the shape of your body, it adjusts, the foam adjusts to your body. So adjustable. And I know that it can feel very comfortable. So I've thought about another word rather than using comfortable. So, and pleasant. So when I put it into a sentence, I would probably say, as it was, because we need to remember to use the past tense, as it was mainly made of firm, adjustable, and pleasant memory foam, it looked like an ordinary mattress. But we're not going to put it into a paragraph just yet. But these are the bullet points that I've come up with, and it ticks quite a few boxes. Well, it ticks all the boxes. I've used a subordinating conjunction. I've used the power of 3. 2, 3. You don't need to do that on your plan. I'm just showing you what I've used. Beneath the first layer, I've used the different sentence starter, and I've used expanded noun phrases. So I've ticked all the boxes. Now is your turn to have a go at completing this section by writing bullet points to describe what your invention looks like. If you find it helpful, you could pause the video and rewind the video to go back to the page where we have the word mats to help you. So please, again, keep this plan safe because you'll be carrying on with this tomorrow with completing the other sections. You don't need to upload this onto Tapestry just yet. We can just see the finished product once you finish the whole plan. Please make sure that you only use bullet points and follow the layout. The plan should also follow the layout of the non-chronological report so that you can just put it next to your new piece of paper when you're writing your non-chronological report, and you can see what the layout is going to look like. So please make sure you also pay close attention to the format of it. Don't worry about uploading it, and please, again, keep it safe. And I will see you in tomorrow's English lesson. Bye, Mandela class.